All right, well, welcome to the, I guess, pseudo in-person virtual staff training. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about things that are going on. We're going to talk a little bit about firebolt training. We're going to talk a little bit about vision, mission, and you know, some stuff that we wanted to talk about at camp in person, but with the way that things are happening, we just can't. It's just not smart to get together in person. So first and foremost, I want to just really quick, I want to share a short little video to help kind of set the tone. Okay, so take a look and check this out.
Right now, life has us keeping. But there's never been a more important time to come together. Scouting looks a little different than what we're used to, sure. But across the country, Scouts are coming together to learn, grow, and serve even while apart. Because that's what Scouting has always been about. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Our culture is one of perseverance and determination. Our foundation is that of always being prepared. When you think about it, we've been preparing for times like these for over 100 years. Because for the past century, we've been pioneers, adventurers, helpers, scouts. Nothing can stop it. We've got this. We are scouts.
So I think that kind of sets the tone for our conversation today. I would like to first and foremost, as you see behind me, I've got our campfire built, and can somebody lead us in the scout oath?
I got that, Ryan, if you want.
Thank you, sir.
This is Keith. Make the scout sign. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty
to God, my country,
to obey the scout law,
help other people
at all times, keep myself physically strong,
mentally awake,
and morally straight.
Scout law.
and the law. Okay, scout sign. A scout
is
trustworthy,
loyal,
helpful,
friendly, courteous,
obedient, cheerful, clean, reverent.
Outstanding. I'm going to mute you all. So first and foremost, I'd like to start off our activity tonight. You know, as we talk about vision, mission, and planning for a strong summer camp program this summer, join me in the lighting of our summer camp fire. And cross your fingers that it lasts the whole time. All right, Keith, go ahead and you can take the lead.
So the first thing we want to run through, I know this is going to be on everybody's mind, and we have as many questions as you do and probably less answers, but we want to just share what we know and share our perspective on our concerns about the COVID-19 that we're all living through right now. We are planning and preparing for camp to happen. That is where we're at. There's been no indication that it has to be canceled at this point, but we're monitoring the situation and we will adapt as we need to. Like the video shared, you know, we're scouts. We can do this. We got this. our first priority is your health and safety above all. And second to that, right up there, is the health and safety of our campers and guests. So any decisions that are made will be made with that in mind. Now, be prepared when camp happens. These kids who come to camp are going to be coming out of no school for a long time. They have energy. That's a great opportunity for us to enjoy that youthful enthusiasm, and want to make sure our program is up to the challenge of that high energy youth. If you have questions or concerns, reach out to your camp director, either Mrs. Steck or Mr. Luchek, and get those questions out there for us, because we want to be able to answer them if we have answers, or to reassure you that we will get an answer as soon as it's available. But we don't want to bog down the meeting right now, so do that offline if you have questions. All right? So jumping into our next topic for tonight is creating a shared vision of success. If we want to have an amazing summer camp here, we need to share a vision of what that means so that we can all work together to reach that goal. So just a little thought experiment for you. Have you ever participated in an adventure? I hope the answer is yes. That can be a scouting adventure, or an adventure with your family, or an adventure at school, or an adventure with another organization. Adventures, they're pretty good, right? So what has to happen in order for an adventure to be successful? And how did you reach that common purpose and goal? Let me tell you a story of, well, a fail of an adventure. So when I was 15 years old, I was a senior patrol leader in a troop, a small troop, and I had a vision of an adventure. We were going to go backpacking in the Uinta Mountains, which is an amazing mountain range in Utah. There's fly fishing and and we camp at lakes and fish every night, and we could summit some of the highest peaks in Utah. It was going to be an amazing trip. And no one shared my vision of that trip. None of the other scouts wanted to go on it, and none of the adults wanted to go on it. I was the only one who had any interest in this amazing trip that I had. I had laid out a map and chosen campsites, and everything was all set to go, but nobody wanted to go. So a vision is only good if everybody shares it and everybody can apply it. So let me tell you a little bit that you may already know, but when we talk about vision and mission, they're two slightly different things, but they overlap a little bit. So a mission tells us what we're trying to accomplish. What is our reason for being? The mission of the Boy Scouts of America is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. That is the reason we exist. Everything else that happens in scouting, whether it's Cub Scouting or Venturing or Scouts BSA, is all for that reason. The vision of the Boy Scouts of America is slightly different, but has a lot of similarity. The Boy Scouts of America will prepare every eligible youth in America to become responsible, participating citizen and leader who is guided by the Scout Oath and Law. So notice there's a lot in common, but there's a few points there to the vision that aren't in the mission. For one, every eligible youth in America. The vision of the Boy Scouts of America is that every youth will get an opportunity to participate in scouting. So this presents us a clear picture of success. It inspires us to action. It's realistic. And it creates a moment. And it'll change as we go through. We have a mission and vision statement for Gerber Scout Reservation that was developed by the professional staff in the MCC. And we've taken on that mission and vision to be our own. So we've read this a couple of times in our webinar meetings, and it's well, with the lag and the online meeting format, it's a bit of a mess. So we're going to try it a little bit different this time. We're going to do a repeat after me. So I will lead, and you guys follow, and we'll see if we can stay a little bit closer together. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. We,
Sounds
the
about
Gerber Scout
time.
Camp of 2020,
We the Gerber
Camp of
20.
20.
are dedicated to providing our customers and guests
Are
Dedicated to providing
to
our
providing our
Customers and
guests
Yes.
a legendary Scout Camp service
A legendary Scout Camp service
I can't.
while participating in life-enhancing year-round camp programs.
while participating in life-enhancing year-round camp programs.
We are committed to providing facilities,
We are committed to providing facilities,
Programs.
service,
leadership
and camp leadership that will consistently exceed customers and guests.
of our customers and guests.
Of our
Customers.
customers.
Customers and guests.
Our Gerber Scout Camp
Our Gerber Scout Camp
Camp.
will be a safe haven,
will be a safe haven
Safe haven.
experiencing the best,
for experiencing the best
Best.
the adventures, and
of
values
adventures and values
The Boy
of
Scouts.
Scouts of America.
Scouts of America.
Boy Scouts of America.
Yay!
Yay! They did it, boys.
Yay!
We'll work.
Yay!
All right, so at the end of that statement, it mentioned the values of the Boy Scouts of America. So here's the list that we repeated at the can use the chat feature, or I'm going to turn on another feature where you can annotate and you can type right on the screen to share something that you value.
So up at the top where it says view options, you click view options and annotate, and you can put in a text, click the text, and then click somewhere on the screen and type in something that you value.
Yep, if you don't switch to text, then you're drawing, and then you get a little line thing. Excellent. Friends. I'm glad that came up.
And you can change the color too.
I value the staff at Gerber Scout Reservation. Being dependable and helpful. The well-being of those around me. Sleep. Adult leaders. Time. Family. Well said. Being kind to all. Family, family, family. Good. Everyone here.
You don't have to.
Excellent. I'm going to save what we've got here. Screen is saved. Okay. Does that work? No. Oh.
Keith, you got to make sure to turn off your. There you
I
go.
know I've lost my cursor. So I'm flying blind here. There we go. I got it. Ah. All right. So let's keep the ideas flowing. Another chance for you to share. Use the same tools and give us a little bit of information about what your personal vision for success looks like for summer camp this year. Oops. Sorry. Whatever happened. Oh, because I'm back to my All right, I'm ready to move on, but I've lost my mouse again. Wonderful. There it is. Got it. Okay. So now that we've talked about vision and we've talked about our own vision and how all of those things that you just put on that page, those are the things in that MCC vision and in the mission and vision of the Boy Scouts of America nationally. So we are on the same page. We want to accomplish an amazing summer camp year for our staff, our campers, our guests, right? And leadership is the thing that makes that vision become reality. And I want you to think about this. Leadership is not just the senior leadership team, the ones who are up here talking in the trainings. Every one of you on staff is in a leadership capacity because you have the ability in your role to have that vision become a reality. This your who visit your camp, you can help translate that vision into reality. So we'll keep talking about this vision because we don't want to lose sight of it. But I'm glad that we're all on the same page. And I'm not the only one who has this vision of an awesome summer camp. Because I'll tell you what, the trip didn't happen, the one that I imagined when I was 15 years old. I did, however, take my family on the same trip 2 years ago. And we went and experienced those mountains together. So we're going to flip over and start talking about evening or fireball programs now. Raka, you ready to take it away?
Certainly, yes. All right, so fireball planning is always my favorite part about the staff trainings, and sadly we can't do a 10-second fireball, but we'll try and do something like that today. Anyway, so the form of a fireball, as you can see by that picture there, starts with an opening. If you're moving from left, goes up, over, and then it ends at closing. So it goes from opening, which is basically you're gathering your songs, the music that's playing in the background on Scout side, and people getting hyped and doing the wave and all that stuff. And then there's welcome songs, which are just really any songs that you would normally play or sing. We don't really have a lot of music or a lot of talent, but you know. And then to action songs, skits, cheers, etc., etc., etc. Then eventually, how this kind of format, I'm going to move a little bit. It starts off being very active, and then there's a point of transition, kind of like a climax of a film, where you get your energy super high up, and then your transition, your falling point, is where it starts to change into a more reflective and more kind of somber things, such as when we sing Britain's Waters or Scouts Vespers and have the camp director come up and give a speech, or the program director, and then we send off the people. A lot of the reflective stuff also happens at chapel before Fireball on the Scout side, and it happens normally at closing Fireball on Cub Scout side. But there's some pretty useful things to know about Fireballs. They're made up of many different things. There's, other than like the parts of it, there are skits, there are songs, and there are remarks and closings and other stuff like that. So skits come in a couple forms, like just fun jokes, or promoting your area, or just fun run-on skits and a bunch of stuff like that. Mostly, it's really funny jokes that you get a punchline with. You never have a skit without a punchline, or else it'll fall flat and people won't remember it easily. And if you're trying to promote your area, it'll be harder to promote your area if it's not at least memorable. And then run-on skits. If you don't know what a run-on skit, if you're new, it's a skit that the punchline is delayed until further into the Fireball, where you set it up, then you continue it, or you end it. But either way, every skit does have to have a punchline. Even run-on skits have a punchline at the very end. Active songs such as Sing Along, Repeat After Me, or Repeat After Me / Sing Along, or any combination of those, are a way of getting the audience involved instead of just having them sit there and watch you guys put on skits. It gets that energy up, it gets them excited, makes them, and they're honestly super fun. There are many fun, helpful hints for song leading that we'll probably share in a cool little, it's like in the instructional sheet that I have here. But a lot of them are like, if you can be accompanied by music, that'd be cool, but not always necessary. If you can't sing good, just sing loud. All that sort of stuff that'll help. And then at the end, we have closing remarks and closing Fireball stuff, such as awards for certain areas, such as like the mile swim or shotgun shooting or other stuff. And there's, what we do is we do Britain's Waters. We sing all together as a staff, and then we start Scouts Vespers, and the leadership team shakes everyone's hands, and they exit Fireball, because that's kind of like their last part of program before they leave. And so we want to make it very special and give it a lasting impact. Is there a second slide, Keith, or is that it there? All right, so now, kind of with that same kind of idea of a 10-second Fireball, though we don't have fun like a big stage or something, we have a 10-second counter, and what we kind of want to try out is we want to try and see if we can have people within 10 seconds say a funny dad joke. Now, I myself will give it a try. One sec. I have a page with a list of dad jokes, and this is to get kind of the creative funny juices flowing, so that way you can be more prepared for when we actually do an in-person 10-second Fireball. So, Keith, would you like to start me off?
Sure.
All right.
The timer comes after your joke, right?
Oh, I thought well, normally how we do 10-second Fireball is we have someone who does Oh, that's true. Never mind. My bad. I got mixed up. But yeah,
So after Rocket's joke, I'm going to hit go on the timer, and before the timer runs out, somebody else jump in with a joke.
All right,
Right.
so let's pause before we do that, right? So Keith, if you want to stop sharing, I just want to share a
Okay.
quick thing real quick. Okay, and kind of give you guys some ideas on where you might be able to go to find some funny jokes and what have you. So out on the website, boyslife.org has a free membership for all scouts and scouters that you can go to and utilize. And right here under jokes, they have joke of the day, right? And under joke of the day, the perfect way to start thinking about, all right, well, what does a skit start with? How do I plan a skit? How do I plan a joke? Where could I go to find some of this stuff? All right. Boys Life is perfect. And everybody has ability and access to it. So you got animal jokes, you got cat jokes, you got Christmas jokes, you got dog jokes, you got food jokes, you got monster jokes, all kinds of jokes and things. So right here, why did the man sit on the clock? The crowd responds, I don't know. Why? Because he was told to work overtime. And ha 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 ha, that's funny. So that's kind of how a source you guys might be able to have to try and find some of those resources and things to think about when planning a cool skit or a joke or a run-on or what have you, right? All skits are basically a joke acted out. Okay? So we can go back and I'll stop share. Keith, you can start sharing and we'll go back to trying this out.
The campfire's looking good, Ryan.
All right, thank you.
All right, are we ready for this?
yeah, I'll start off and then you'll hit the timer for 10 seconds. And then whoever wants to join in with a small little joke can.
Now hold on. We got a couple more ground rules we got to identify.
Oh, yeah.
So if you click on participants, in participants, there's a place where you can raise your hand, and we'll keep an eye on that. And whoever raises their hand first is the person that we will call on to go to the next joke. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Give me a thumbs up if everybody agrees to that. Show me your thumbs up. No, show me your thumbs up through the participant thing. There you go. I got a couple coming in. All right. All right. Now go in and unselect your thumbs up. I saw one clap. Good job. All right. Go ahead, Spence.
Alrighty then. This is an oldie but a goodie, but why did the bicyclist fall down?
Why?
Why?
Because his
Why?
bicycle was too tired.
That was a good one.
Funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
All right, Isaac Gould.
Woo! All right. What do you call a fake noodle?
What?
What do you call it?
What do you call a fake noodle?
An impasta.
Ah!
All right, Gabe Gloria.
All right. Why did Jimmy throw his clock out the window?
Why?
He wanted to see time fly.
You think that's me? That's me. I always wanted to go on a diet, but I feel like I have way too much on my plate right now.
That was good.
That was
Kazoo.
My car horn wasn't working, so I took it to a Boy Scout. He fixed it and said, "Be prepared."
All right.
Because we're scouts.
Love Wisniewski.
What do you call a dog that can do magic?
What?
What?
A labracadabrador.
I like that.
Beanie.
What's dry and sandy?
What?
Sand.
You're right. You're right.
All right, Ellie and John.
Did you know that the first French fries weren't actually cooked in France? They were cooked in Greece.
Yeah, I get it.
Nathan Poland.
I didn't get it.
Nathan.
What is a lawnmower's favorite kind of music?
What?
What?
Bluegrass.
Bruce. Bruce.
Why was the Dark Ages called? Why is the medieval period called the Dark Ages?
Why?
Why?
Because there were so many knights.
I haven't heard of that one. That's a good one.
Glow stick.
Two goldfish are in a tank. One says to the other, "Do you know how to drive this thing?"
All right, Isaac Gould.
All right. How do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it.
All right, Paige Reynolds.
You know, I used to be a banker, but then I lost interest.
Funny.
That's a good one.
Colin Luchek.
Hey, Rocket. So I invented a new word. Can you guess what it is?
Oh, what?
Plagiarism.
Christopher Purdy.
No.
All right, Christopher.
So where do you learn to make ice cream?
Where?
Sunday school.
All right, Jesse Ann. Jesse. Oh, Quinn,
What was that?
you're up.
Oh, all right. If a child refuses to go to sleep, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
Never thought about that. That's a good one.
Ellie and John.
I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Oh, that's a good one.
Glow stick.
Hey, Isaac. Did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change color?
No, I didn't.
Wait, I actually can't say that one. Never mind. Skip me.
Good job, Glowstick. Thanks for censoring.
Sasquatch.
I don't trust seafood places. They always seem a little fishy to me.
Mathis Guerin.
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
Fedora.
Why didn't the lifeguard rescue the hippie?
Why?
Because he was far out, man.
Oh, Isaac Gould.
All right. What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter?
What do you call it?
What?
An irrelevant.
All right. I get that.
Spruce.
What's so fragile that if you say its name, it breaks?
What?
What?
Silent.
Silence.
That's a new one.
Glow stick.
All right, this one's appropriate. Why did the picture go to jail?
Why?
Why?
Because it was framed.
All right.
All right. I'll take it.
Colin.
Did you say Colin?
I heard
Yeah.
free.
So I work at a bank, and an old lady came up and asked me to check her balance. So I pushed her over.
All right, so let's pause for a quick second, and Keith and Spence, let's talk a little bit about appropriateness of jokes and skits and such.
I have actually a pretty good kind of list of fireball etiquette. Would that pertain?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right, there's a couple things you gotta know during fireballs. Of course, be appropriate. That means age appropriate. Not just because if you have dirty jokes, don't say them, but also you're playing jokes for kids that aren't always your age. At least on Cub Scout side, we're playing jokes for kids that are from 1st to 5th grade. So what's funny to you and me might not be funny to them. But always be appropriate, because whatever you think might go over the kids' heads definitely won't go over the parents' heads. So just be appropriate. Also, a couple things also with fireball etiquette. If someone's saying a joke, you give them the floor. Or if they're saying the punchline or something that's very important to the skit, make sure you stay quiet. This also means don't blurt out the answer to a joke if you're in the audience or somewhere else, because that kind of ruins the thing. If you ever find yourself on stage when you're not supposed to be on stage, get off stage. It's pretty simple. There's a famous story about how Cheeto, a staff member back then, went on stage 2 skits before he was supposed to, and so he picked up a rock, threw it, and said, "Rock and roll," and he left. So remember, your timing. That's what skit lists are very handy for. I have one here from last year. That will help you figure out what skit's up next and everything, especially if you don't have an MC coming in between each skit. A couple of other things is laughter. During the summer, you'll be hearing skits over and over and over, maybe 100 times over. Even if kids come up and say, "Man, that skit was so funny," you should pretend that it's the first time you've heard it. There's a reason why studios use laugh tracks, because if everyone's laughing, they'll start to laugh. So if you hear a joke that at the time you're like, "Yeah, I heard this one 80 times before," laugh anyway. It'll get the kids to laugh, and it'll make it sound like that is the funniest thing ever. Clap at the end of each skit. Even if it's a skit that you're in, even if you're clapping off stage, that sound will kind of echo, and it's a good kind of courtesy to clap, and it helps the other people that are behind stage or off to the side know when their skit's supposed to go on next. It's a good indicator of that. Couple more things. Oh, we'll go through hand motions in at another future staff training, but there are a couple of ones that the program director or whoever is the MC of the fireball will be standing in the back and sending to you, such as this one, which means, I don't know if you can see me on your screen, but I'm holding both my hands to my ears. It means that I can't hear you. Please speak up. Or hold the microphone closer to you if you're on scout side. Another one is face the front, where I do like angel wing motions. It's kind of a hard one because like if you're not facing the front, you won't be able to see me. But it's to get other people in the skit who can see me to kind of let the person who's not facing me know. If I ever go like this, and I'm currently rotating my fingers around each other like I'm rolling up taffy or rolling up like a piece of string, it means wrap it up. Your skit's gone on too long, or it's hit the punchline, just get off stage as soon as you can. If I pull taffy, where I kind of pull my hands apart, it means stretch it out, it's funny, we need to solve for time, etc. If I ever like go like this, like cut it out, it means get off stage as soon as you can. You messed up, or something bad has happened and we can't have you on stage. Yeah, and we'll go over those again another time, but now also with appropriateness for songs too, there is a knack of a lot of songs that are kind of deemed inappropriate for campers. I had a mom last year who said, "I'm so glad that that Gerber Scout Reservation has clean songs." She was saying how she went to another camp that I'm not going to say the name of, but they sang the shaving cream song, and everyone probably knows the shaving cream song. The whole idea is, if you know it, you know it, but it's not that bad of a song, but it is still kind of in that risque area. We don't want kids to go repeating that when they get home, saying, "Hey, look what I learned at camp," and their parents get upset at us. So just a reminder, make sure all songs are appropriate. If you have any questions about what songs, skits, or jokes are appropriate, ask your program director or a senior staff member, and they can probably let you know because they've been here long enough to know what's appropriate and what's not. And that's all I really had on all that, Ryan.
Wonderful. Well, let's take a minute, and Keith, if you reset the clock, could I get Spencer? Could I get you to start us off, and let's teach the group a song.
A song? All right. For those who are new at the group, we sing a lot of camp songs at camp. Of course, that's where they get their name. There are mainly 3 types, but with some variants in between. There are repeat after me's, sing-alongs, and repeat after me / sing-alongs. The easiest to learn, and the one that I'll do now, is a repeat after me song. And this is going to be so much fun in an online format. But how you start off a song, you can start it off many ways by saying, "This is my favorite song," and then everyone will say, "This is my favorite song too," or something like that. If you're doing a sing-along song, you have to go through the verse first, so that way they know what it is. But this is a repeat after me song.
This
is a repeat after me
song.
And this one has hand motions. So what hand motions are, with hand motions, yeah. What hand motions are a way of getting the body moving so we feel more immersed in the song. So let's start that one again because I threw off my groove. This is repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me song.
With hand motions.
With hand motions.
Hey, Kobisha. Longa.
Longa.
Longa Chumanga.
Chumanga.
Designate that the song's done, or we cheer, or we give a round of applause. So that's an example of a really short repeat after me song.
Great. All right. Well, let's see. Remember, you got the raise your hand option. We will start the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
What did the caretaker say when they jumped out of the store cupboard?
Oh, pause the clock.
What'd they say?
He said supplies.
All right. Well, hey, just so you guys know, we're not doing jokes anymore. We're doing songs. So if you have a
Sorry about that.
But it was a good one, though, Glenn.
I have. I've got Spruce that said he wants to lead a song.
Oh boy. This is a repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me.
I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic.
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 I'm alive, awake, alert.
I'm alive, awake, alert.
I'm alert, awake, alive.
I'm alert, awake, alive.
I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic.
I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic.
Yay!
Yay! Brings me back.
Be done faster.
I love Super Dead Shoe songs.
Kazoo.
All right. This is repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me
song. Hand motions.
Hand motions.
This just so happens to be my favorite song.
It's my favorite song too.
It goes something
Like this.
The Princess Pat.
The Princess Pat.
In a tree.
Lived in a tree.
Sailed across.
She sailed across
the 7 seas.
the seven seas.
She sailed across.
She sailed across
the Channel 2.
the Channel 2.
And she took with her.
And she took with her.
Oh, Rick-a-dan-do.
Oh, Rick-a-dan-do.
Now, what is that?
Now, what is that?
It's something made.
It's something made.
Princess Pat.
Princess Pat.
Red and gold.
It's red and gold.
And purple too.
And purple too.
That's why it's called. Oh, Rick-a-dan-do.
Oh, Rick-a-dan-do.
Now, Captain Jack.
Now, Captain Jack
Had a mighty fine crew.
had a mighty fine crew.
Sailed across. He sailed across.
He sailed across.
The
My phone's dying.
Two. But his ship sank.
His ship.
And yours will too.
And yours will too.
If you don't take. Oh, Rick-a-dan-do. Now, what is that?
Now, what is
that?
Something made.
It's
Something made.
It's red and gold.
It's red and gold.
And purple too.
And
Purple too.
That's why it's called.
That's why it's called.
Oh, Rick-a-dan-do.
Dan-do.
Yay!
Isaac Gould.
Woo! All right. This is a repeat after me song.
This after me.
This
is a repeat after me song.
With hand motions. Robots with drill arms. Oh, robots with drill arms. And laser eyes. Are pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But they ain't got nothing.
Nothing.
On bears.
On bears.
Bears with drill arms.
Bears with drill arms.
Oh, bears with drill arms.
Oh, bears with drill arms.
And laser eyes.
And laser eyes.
Are pretty cool.
Are pretty cool.
But they ain't got nothing.
But they ain't got
Nothing.
On mosquitoes.
on mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes with drill arms.
Mosquitoes with drill arms.
Oh, mosquitoes with drill arms.
Mosquitoes with drill arms.
And laser eyes.
And laser eyes.
Are really cool.
Really cool.
But they ain't got nothing.
But they ain't got nothing.
On the end of the song.
On
Yeah.
the end of the song.
That one you can go as many verses as you want till you get to vacation.
All right, glow stick.
All right. This is a repeat after me. Song.
This is a repeat after me. Song.
Do my bedpost, do my bubble gum. Spin my yo-yo. Woo, woo, woo.
Spin my yo-yo.
And along came Herman the Worm.
And
And he was that big.
he was
that big. And I said, Herman.
He was
so big. And he said. I ate a leaf. Did my bedpost, do my bubble gum.
Spin my
yo-yo. Woo, woo, woo. And along came Herman the Worm.
And
he was that big.
And he was not big.
And I said, Herman. How did you get so big? And he said, I ate a ball. Did my bedpost, do my bubble gum. Spin my yo-yo. Woo, woo, woo. And along came Herman the Worm. And he was that big. And I said, Herman. How did you get so big? And he said. I ate a rock. Anyway, hold up.
And he's about, hold up.
What?
That big.
And I said, Herman. How'd you get so big? And he said, I ate Disney World. Spin my yo-yo. And along came Herman the Worm.
They say Kevin.
And he was that small. He was that small. And I said, Herman. How'd you get so small? And you know what he said?
He said,
I farted.
Woo! You did it, guys.
Yay!
Did it, Reddit.
Hey. 7, 6, 5.
Somebody's got to raise their hand.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, well, that kind of concludes our
Happy
10-second
New Year.
fireball.
That sucks.
Thanks everybody for that fun and excitement. Keith or Spencer, do you guys have anything else that you'd like to share regarding fireball etiquette or discussion?
I just have a quick thing. When it comes to songs, make sure that you're singing loud and clearly, even if you're in the audience. Also, just one quick thing, a lot of songs can be sang in different versions. So if you have a song that you sing a different way versus another way, but the person who is leading the song is singing it the other way, follow that person's version.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of, it's part of etiquette to follow what the person who's leading the song does. No. But other than that, I have nothing else. Keith?
Hold on a second. I'm going to mute everyone.
Doesn't need to be said, but let's go ahead and say it. Appropriateness includes any song or skit that makes fun of a person or a group of people. There's some popular skits out there like The Big Jerk or The Suckers, where the point of the skit is to make fun of a person. So that's not appropriate. And as scouts, we are clean, so inappropriate jokes. If the punchline of the joke is toilet related, then it's not appropriate. I think that's pretty clear. I think we got that.
Absolutely. Mary or Colin, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I am good for tonight.
I am also good for tonight.
Okay, great. Well, let's move on to the next slide. I believe that as we talk about winding down and our fire starts to become smaller and quieter, we move into a more solemn conversation, and a lot of it ends up usually the camp director or the program director talking about a Scoutmaster minute and really solidifying the Scouts experience and wrapping it all back together, maybe recognizing some of the adults that help support the summer camp experience for those young men and women. And but one of the things that we do at Gerber Scout Reservation is we have a song that's called Britain's Waters. And we wanted to play the audio for this for you because I know a lot of you are new, but could I get a volunteer to sing Britain's Waters and give us an example of that song? If you'd be willing to do that, raise your hand. Glow stick, if you could sing Britain's Waters and share that with us, thank you.
How much do you want me to sing of it?
The whole thing.
All right, one moment. Okay. Britain's waters called to me beneath the summer sky. Remember well all you have seen when youth has passed you by. When youth has passed you by. Said I, dear waters, in reply, allow me chance to say, though from these forests now I leave, I will return one day. I will return one day. For here I've learned the fellowship the scouting law has laid, burns brightly as the bonfire around which
which friends are made, around which friends are made. Then down the trail of wizened oaks did whisper from above, as for a time I may leave this place, dear Gerber that I love, dear Gerber that I love.
You're on mute, Ryan.
Okay, so I'd like to try this as a group. I know it's going to be kind of hard, but who would like to start us off? It looks like Kazoo. Could you help us in maybe a 3, 2, 1 and start the song?
Beneath the summer sky, where will you seen when passed you by, has passed you by.
Return. I will return there. Shouting
It's for a time I may leave this place, dear girl, place.
As for a time I may leave this
Ryan, I just sent you the original song.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all. All right. So that kind of that's a song that I would encourage each and every one of you to work on. If that's the first time you've sang that song, we will share that that sheet music. I know that we've talked a little bit about putting the band back together. Keith, do you want to talk a little bit about that and maybe some thoughts or discussion about how we can utilize some of our musical talents and what we could do this summer?
Sure. So I have next to me on the screen now my wife, Bernice. She'll be at camp with us as chaplain, and she's a band director. So I'm going to let her do the band thing. There are a lot of ways that we could use our band to play instruments, and there's ways that we can involve everybody. One place that we have talked about, my wife and I, is during chapel service. So we're putting together some songs that are fairly easy to play. Those who are interested will be able to learn them and share that music at chapel. There's also ways that we can work this into a theme. The thing that's going to work best is when we get together in person, we'll bring instruments, we'll play with it, we'll see how it falls into place. It's really not something we can pull together over the internet with all the lag and everything.
Yeah.
But you know, music is something that unites people together. When you make music with someone, it creates a bond, and that's something that we can leverage. That's all I got to say.
Wonderful. Bernice, do you have anything else that you'd like to share on that topic?
Just that it would be handy to know who is planning to bring an instrument and what instrument they're planning to bring, so that I can make sure I have the right music. I don't know what would be the best way to make sure we know that, but.
Wonderful. Could everybody do us a quick favor, and in the group chat, could you identify what musical instrument that you would be willing to bring to the next staff training? We are, you know, again, we are hoping to have an in-person training in May, and it would be nice for you all to work to bring something. If you do have a musical instrument, I myself, I play a good stick. You know, that's about all I can play is a little more cowbell. So I'm going to try and find a cowbell and bring a cowbell. But
Awesome.
but I'm not musically talented. So
That's fine. We've even talked about maybe kazoos, or there are a lot of different ways we can include anybody who's interested. Now, I want you to make sure that you talk to your adults about the possibility of bringing your instruments. Some of them would not do well at camp. And we don't want to ruin any instruments. So, you know, don't bring your fancy new wooden clarinet, bring your old plastic one that you use for marching band, stuff like that. So just make sure that your instrument isn't going to be the worst, isn't going to get damaged from being at camp. Spoons is awesome. I like spoons. And we can be really, really creative. And don't worry if you're not that good. It's totally cool, right? I teach 6th graders. I'm good. So all good.
So again, we will, Keith and Colin and Mary and Spencer, can you help to make sure the sheet music gets shared with everyone ahead of time, so that you guys could work on practicing possibly the Britain's Waters song? I think that would be just phenomenal if we could play that as a group. That would be really cool. And I currently have some other versions of it as well, and I don't know if it's based on a different type of musical instrument or not, but this song was created years ago, back when I was a staffer on Gerber, and it's really kind of neat because there's no other camp like it that has a song that we do. So y'all ought to be proud about this and cherish this song and remember it for a long time. Keith, do we have any other slides that we have to share?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like to, if you can stop share, I would like to share a quick, short little video. Talks about leadership and talks about kind of the direction that we want to try and have this summer. So check it out.
I was trained for one submarine. My guys were trained to do what they were told. That's a deadly combination. We all know organizations where people just follow the leader into disastrous situations. So I got my guys together and I said, hey, we got a problem here. I was trained for another submarine. You're trained to do whatever nonsense comes out of my mouth. That's right, Captain. I mean, they knew. They already knew. I was pretty much talking to myself. So I said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, guys? And we talked about it. Okay, what I really wanted to do was get ready for the inspection. But we were sitting in the wardroom. We spent a couple hours. We were talking about it. And we came up with all these different things. And, well, you Captain, you just got to be smarter. You got to give better orders. It's like, well, how am I going to learn a whole nuclear submarine, miles of valves and pipes? I spent a year learning Olympia, 2 weeks over here. So in a year, we'll be safe? That's not going to work. We had to deploy the submarine in 6 months. So we talked about it, and they said, okay, there's only one logical solution. We figured it out. You, they're pointing at me, you shut up. What do you mean? That's not what captains do. That's not what captains of nuclear submarines do. They walk around, they give orders. They sound like Russell Crowe. Head 2/3, dive, make it up 500 feet. Helm left 15 degrees rudder, steady course 255. Load torpedoes and tubes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Flood down, open outer doors, right? And I thought about it. And you know what? They were right. So at that point, I vowed never to give another order. And if you came down on my submarine, it would have been very confusing. Because you couldn't have pointed. It would have been hard to say, well, who's the captain here? Because you wouldn't have seen me giving orders. I did retain one order. The final order to launch a weapon, a torpedo or a missile, I kept with me because I felt that since that was going to result in the deaths of other human beings, that I didn't want that on anyone's conscience but mine. That was my moral and ethical responsibility. But even though everything else in the Navy, there's long lists of things that says the captain has to authorize. Captain should authorize. You got a couple nukes in your group, they'll tell you it's true. Captain authorize, submerge the ship, get underway, start up the reactor, shut down the reactor, connect to shore power, divorce from shore power, on and on, break for dive, on and on and on, pages of these things. I just refused to give those orders. What we replaced it with was intent. Instead of giving instructions, if you want your people to think, don't give instructions, give intent. So they would come to you, hey, what do you want me to do? Well, left full rudder, steady course 255. No! So what are we trying to accomplish here today? Well, we're trying to get in position so that when the enemy submarine comes through, okay, so where do you think we should position the ship? Maybe over here. Good idea, go there. You give intent to them, and they give intent to you. So my officer stopped requesting permission. And every other submarine, Captain, request permission to submerge the ship. Submerge the ship. Submerge the ship, aye. On Santa Fe, Captain, I intend to submerge the ship. Very well. And they did it. And it might seem like it's a very small, nuanced change of language, but it was hugely powerful because the psychological ownership now shifts to them. They need to discover the answer. Otherwise, you're always the answer man. You can never go home and eat dinner. And so we started doing this. And it was hugely powerful. Actually, we went another step. Then I got smarter and I said, when the officer said, Captain, I intend to submerge the ship, I would ask him, well, what do you think I'm thinking right now? And he'd look at me, hard to tell. I'm guessing you're wondering whether it's safe. Bingo! I said, well, convince me it's safe. He said, Captain, I intend to submerge the ship. All men are below. Hatches are shut. Ship's rigged for dive. I checked the bottom deck. The submarine's in the water that's been assigned to us. Then later I would ask them, is it the right thing to do? And they would say, well, yes, sir, because our mission requires that we... And these are the two pillars that I think support this idea of giving control. These are the two pillars that need to be in place. The technical competence, which is represented by, is it safe? And the organizational clarity, which is represented by, is it the right thing to do? And you put those things in place, and then you can give control. And you give control, and you put those things in place. And you are off to the races. So think about what's happening now. My officers are starting to think like me, because I have to think like, where should we do the ship? And so the guys below them. Now this took 24 hours to happen. It took a couple years for the full implementation, but immediately there was change. The officers started thinking like me, so pretty soon I could go in the engine room, find the engine room lower level watch who was taking logs in the lube oil pumps, and he would know what the submarine was doing. He would know whether we were up tight, close to the enemy, and it was time to stay quiet, or whether we had backed out a little bit. This may be a good time to change filters and make a little bit of noise. A year later, we received another inspection. A year later, we received an inspection. The inspecting team gave us the highest grade they had ever seen. Not that year, not in the Pacific, ever seen. Why? I mean, this crew had a captain who was a dummy. It's because that needle started moving up. And on another submarine, there was one guy in charge, one guy giving orders, one guy thinking, and 134 people doing what they're told. I don't care how smart you are. On my submarine, I got 135 thinking, active, passionate, creative, proactive, taking initiative people. It's a tidal wave. You don't stand a chance. Here's the solution. Move the authority to where the information is. You mean the software engineer can decide whether we ship the software? Yeah. You mean the client, my salesman can close the deal? Well, up to $1,000. No. Yes. Whatever the price? Yes. What does it take to make that happen? Now, if you're picturing a lot of people out there doing crazy things and a bunch of arrows going in a bunch of different directions, you have the wrong picture. You create the environment so that those people are out there making decisions as if the CEO were standing right behind them. And if it's not the same decision, it's actually a better decision because they have the information. And not only will you get better speed of execution, because now you don't have this delay, what happens is those people feel like they matter because they're thinking. You engender thinking. You create the environment for thinking. The secret is nothing I said is hard. There's nothing hard. The only thing that's hard is you. It will feel wrong. You've been genetically and culturally programmed to take charge and make it happen. Take control and attract followers. And what you want is to give control and create leaders. It will feel wrong, and you will repeatedly start down this path if you so choose, and then you'll be angry at yourself like I was. And you will have a failure, and you'll go back to the old ways. And you will pick yourself up, and you will go again, and you will go again. And by doing so, you will achieve the greatest thing possible. You will have achieved greatness, not because of the deeds and acts that you did, but because you set an environment where the people around you and their families and their schools and their organizations and their businesses, they've achieved greatness. That will be the greatest thing of all. Go forth and be great.
So let's talk about this just a quick minute. As our campfire slowly fades away, raise your hand if you have some thoughts relating to this video and how we operate as a summer camp in creating the greatness, creating the magic, creating the opportunity where, you know, you guys have the control and the ability to give leadership as a program for our scouts. Raise your hand if you have an idea. Glow stick, go ahead.
I mean, it's kind of a good idea for us to do something like this because it allows us, just thinking about this in terms of merit badges, to avoid the idea that this can't become something like a merit badge factory, because we help these kids to become leaders and think about their own way of doing this, helping them guide through and think about the requirements that they're trying to succeed and fulfill.
Thank you. Fedora.
Yeah, kind of what Glowstick was talking about. As a leader, as a merit badge counselor at camp, you have to not only teach the scouts the merit badge, but you have to immerse them in it, and you kind of have to get them doing it. When I was lifeguarding last summer, I didn't just teach them how to save lives and like do their rescues, but I actually made them sit up in the lifeguard chair while we played around the water a little bit and had them watch out for fake victims, so they kind of got the experience of it and they really got interested in it.
Awesome. Thank you. Spruce.
With what we do with the CI, with everyone in our in-person trainings, when we talk about like what each area director is going to be doing in their area, what they're planning on, we have everyone, including the assistant area directors, the superintendent chiefs, and the CITs all come together, share ideas as to what else the area director can do and what might not work out so well for their area.
Wonderful. Any other thoughts or things that people? Okay, Odin.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Just as advice for leaders, area directors, leader staff, really one important thing to do is have faith in your staff. Like with this presentation is, put authority where the information is. Even as an area director, you may not know, especially if you're in an area where you teach a lot of different merit badges, you may not know every single detail about each merit badge, which is why having staff that are specialized in specific things and to teach specific merit badges that are really good at teaching those specific merit badges is important. And also to have faith in them, have faith in their skill, because one, they're going to enjoy it a lot more. The campers are going to enjoy it a lot more. And it's just going to be a much better run area if you just have that specialization. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Odin. Anyone else before we close out tonight? Pickles.
It's also very important to make sure that we can trust the staff that are younger than us to get some work done, because eventually they're going to be in the positions we hold. They're going to be the ones in charge of a bunch of newer staff, and those staff are going to be responsible for more kids, and the cycle just needs to continue. So if we don't start handing responsibilities down, they won't be ready for when they're handed the responsibilities later.
Excellent. So don't ask to step in, don't ask to step up is a great mentality. Any other closing comments that anyone from the team has? Raise your hand and I'll call on you. Gabe, you're muted. There you go.
I think another thing to add is attitude, because I mean anyone can step up and lead and kind of set an example, but attitude is what motivates them forward and really gets them engaged. So just had that on my mind.
Awesome. Garrett.
Kind of like what Gabe said, where it says I matter, that's definitely important. When you move the leadership down and disperse it among the people that are doing the work and that have the information, it gives them that feeling of they're doing something important and that they matter. That can really help boost morale and like their enjoyment of this time, and that then spreads and or passes on and moves to the campers too, and everybody just becomes happier, has a better time.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, glow stick.
Just as kind of a bring back, I know Spruce mentioned this, but it is very important, especially when it comes to the CITs, and I know Pickles talked about this too, but the younger staff members are those that are going to be filling the shoes of those who are leaving rather sooner rather than later, because that's just how life is, because people have other options. So really allowing this environment to really grow is important to make sure that camp stays at such a high place where it is right now.
Absolutely. Great words. All All right, last call. Andrew Westfall.
Yeah, so especially with everything going on in the world right now, we have to make sure that this camp is going to be the best camp ever, and we got to make sure that everybody, including campers and staff, are excited, energetic, and excited to be there.
Thank you, Andrew. So I want to close this out with just talking a little bit about tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to join back together at 9 a.m. And as we join, we're going to talk a lot about program areas. And on our last webinar, if you guys remember right, we highlighted, you know, the experience that we're going to provide our scouts, the experience that we're going to have as staff members, the experience that we can control and expand upon for the kids that are going to be our future staff. And so tomorrow, when we get together, we're gonna cover a few items, and then we're gonna break out. And if you know the area that you're working in, I would encourage you that over the night tonight, go onto the website and take a look at what merit badges in your area that you're offering. And if you just Google merit badge BSA, you can find all of the merit badge requirements, and that's going to really help us to kind of carry on a conversation about thinking outside of the box, thinking creative, thinking about that experience, thinking about how we can expand and grow this to be the best program out there. The legendary experience that we talk about. Thank you to each and every one of you. Help us continue to spread the word that camp is going to be the best it's ever been. I mean, we've been through situations where we've had to provide dining underneath a tent for an entire summer. And if we can get through that, we can get through this. And I am so excited for each and every one of you to be a part of this team and a part of the magic that we are going to create this summer. Thank you for all of you that joined tonight. Encourage your friends and your fellow staff to join us again tomorrow, and let's prepare to have the best summer ever, and provide those young men and women the guidance and understanding to learn from the Scout Oath and Law, and to live by the 12 points that we preach every time we get together. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Sleep tight. See you at 9 a.m.
Night.
Tomorrow morning, everyone.
Night.